Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again this week with Hipther Talks, and today we are sticking to the gaming industry, and it's a pleasure to have with us Dana Sydorenko, an experienced entrepreneur, CEO, and co-founder at GameTree. Dana, it's nice to have you here.
Nice to be here. Thank you so much. And welcome everyone. Today going to be very interesting topics about gaming and future of gaming. So I hope those of you who are gamers, you're going to love it.
Yeah, they will. So we have a habit here of asking our guests to share a few words about themselves in their own words. So please just give a short introduction to our audience.
Mm-hmm. So as you mentioned, I'm Dana Sydorenko. I'm Ukrainian ex-military and war veteran. I got into Forbes 30 under 30 in Europe gaming. I finished Stanford University, actually undergrad school of business. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, have a couple previous businesses. One of them become top 250 companies in Ukraine. And it's the company that doing it's one of the biggest army supplier in Ukraine. And currently I'm speaker and mentor in a couple business schools and accelerators and partner in venture fund. And my child is GameTree. I'm CEO and founder on that one.
All right, so thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. So my first question is, if you could share with us the journey that led you from serving as a paramedic in the Ukrainian army to co-founding GameTree, because that's a totally different world.
Of course, they are quite different, but they have something in common. So I was a gamer since I was born. I find my first computer, I play a video game, and I fall in love with that. But gaming was very different back then. As if you remember, if you play games at that period, the game was all about spending time with the people who you love. For example, I play games with my sister, I play it with my brother, I play it with my classmates. Then there was period of online clubs where you can go and play with your neighbor, like Whole Food was in the internet club. And that was the way to connect with people. It was a way to spend time with people who we love. It wasn't just, solo activity that much. So when I went back from army, I felt quite isolated and depressed. And I thought that I can go online and it's going to be my safe environment and I can find my community, my friends. I'm going to feel good again. And for about a year, I spent just literally sitting in my apartment playing video games. But I noticed how different games become. And instead of being that like fun and safe and like social activity, they become more and more toxic, especially towards women gamers. Like against female gamers, it's even worse. And they become from this social activity, from like communities, to more online and global and international. And it's getting more and more toxic and getting more and more isolated, even in MMO games, multiplayer games.
All right. So my next question would be about what inspired the creation of GameTree, and how has your personal experience influenced the mission and vision of the platform?
Yeah, so after I get back, I start playing and it just wasn't fun. I just faced more and more toxicity. like, you know, some randoms who doesn't know you, who doesn't know what you went through, why you here, start commenting something that completely not related about the game, and it just feels sucks. So it went so bad that I even stopped playing. I didn't see the point to just make yourself feel bad. And I stopped playing for a couple years. But then when I met with my co-founder, he went through something very similar. And he was about to stop playing too. But then we decided to try to change it. We decided to dive deeper into understanding what actually lead to this toxicity, and is there a way to fix it. So we spend many hours like just looking how people playing, just looking for science, what can lead to toxicity. And then we created our first theory, then algorithms, how to solve this.
All right. So also this transition from military supply to tech industry it's quite a big shift, and wow, it's not that common. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced during this transition, and how did you overcome them? This is my next question.
Yeah, I can see it's not typical story. Now, when I work in tech, almost no one actually had that kind of shift. And almost no one actually work in like traditional business, especially if this is traditional business in Eastern Europe, which
I
is
think
very
I can
different than
leave
South.
out the almost part. I think there's nobody has done this transition.
And also Eastern Europe, like business, it's crazy different from the US business. I like this, that my journey was different, because business in tough environments such as Ukraine and all that part of the world teach you be tough too, and teach you looking for creative ways to solve the problems, and teach you how to solve problem that looks unsolvable, which is very useful in tech. Also, it teaches you that there's nothing that people cannot figure out, and the greatest team you have, the greatest your company is. So all of these lessons, they are very common through industries, through businesses, and I'm happy that I was able to implement that. One of the biggest things that I didn't understand from the start is the differences. I thought it works exactly the same. So you need to generate revenue from the start, because in my previous business, that like investment wasn't a thing. You couldn't raise money to grow your company. You need to bootstrap. You need to generate revenue as soon as possible so you could reinvest it back to your company and scale it from there. And it's a long process. You don't have other choices. You cannot go and take money from VC. Versus here, this is the way. Like you physically, for example, especially in social platform, you physically cannot build it on your own money. And more of that, you need other companies, other strong players to support you and be part of some sort of gaming ecosystem, or be part of the strong venture capital portfolio company who also has other portfolio company. It's make all your journey a bit easier. It's also benefit everyone inside the portfolio if you complementary to it. So that's pretty much what we are looking for, what is very crucial for us when we talking with VC. This is very new for me. I didn't know from the start how it works. My natural instinct was, let's just start, like generate as much profit as we can so we could reinvest back to the company and grow it. But I needed to like learn that it's not the only way. Sometimes it's better to wait and grow, and then if you have enough money, you can be secure without like always consciously think that, oh, we're gonna go bankrupt because we didn't generate enough revenue.
All right. So as you mentioned, GameTree is committed to creating a non-toxic, friendship-driven gaming community, and I'm curious about what strategies have you implemented to foster this inclusivity and combat toxicity within the online gaming environments, because that can be challenging.
It sounds like you know from your experience. Are you a gamer?
I used to play a long time ago.
Yeah, I feel you. So it's a common problem. I think there's no need to explain that gamers and games become more and more toxic. It's kind of like self-explanatory thing, but just in terms of statistic, things going really not great. For example, only in toxicity, like 74% of gamers experience harassment online, and 67% will stop playing if they keep experiencing toxicity in the game, which is huge number. Think about it. Games spend years to develop a game, and then because they didn't know enough about social engineering and didn't prevent toxicity, it led to people stop playing. And 67% is crazy. So where we started, we started from psychology. We started asking ourselves, are people actually toxic? Because, well, we have all our friends are gamers and they lovely people. They, volunteer, they donate to charity, they lovely, they funny. Who's this people online? So maybe that part that it's online making this twist, or maybe it's that part that you don't see someone's face making this changes, or maybe it's that part that you don't know the person online. Everybody kind of like no name, they characters, they're not themselves. So we started going through all of this, and we discovered that it's not that simple that gamers are toxic. It's mostly wrong people play with each other. So because it's so randomized and because matchmaking algorithm doesn't really consider a lot but your gamer skill, that's usually, and who's online, it's not enough. Lack of community in the games, it's another huge one. In real life, you don't really interact that much with like just random people. You usually have somebody in common. You have social circle. And that's how humans was evolved to functioning. We was evolved to be in tribes. We was evolved to be in families. We don't evolve to be just like no one online. So when we put the person from just being no one and put him inside the community and let him play with kind of the same people over and over again, you know that these people are friends of other friends of mine. They know me, not just in the game, but like in general, they know me. They know what kind of person I am. If you let gamers, like players, interact before the game, that make all experience less toxic. So what we created, what we spent tons of hours is learning psychologies, learning different psychology types and how they interact with each other. Sometimes it's just natural clashes of personalities that cannot get along together. And in real life, you would just like, not communicate. You would just like move away. But if online, you can be stuck for like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours with somebody, and you don't have a choice to just like, leave. So the first one is psychology. Second one is a clashes of player styles. For example, if somebody's super casual, somebody's super competitive, they're going to have natural conflict over there. So we learning and analyze your gamer style. We ask you to go through some onboarding process where we're learning not just what kind of games do you play, but why do you play them, so we could understand you better. So we have the model that we created. It's called Gamer DNA, where we can research and dive deeper into your motivation and reasons playing and liking some specific game. It's free. Everybody can go and check it out and say what kind of gamer you are. And last one is values. So we figure out that if you play with your friends or people who can be your friends, you're going to be naturally less toxic. And the way how we become friends with somebody, it's a lot depend on our value system. So if we see the world in the same way, if we see what is good, what is wrong in the same way, it's not necessarily better or worse. It can be just different. But with our friends, we usually have pretty much the same opinions about things that are very important for us, our value system. So that's something that we're also learning about our users and matching them with people who share the same or similar values.
All right, I'm just in the meantime thinking that, man, I'm at the edge of millennials because I was born in '84. When I played games, there was not connected to the internet. A part of
Yeah.
me, I caught that part when we were connected, also playing online, mostly Counter-Strike and stuff like that. But I just looked up in 2001 when I was I was playing games. There were like 29 million websites. Now
Okay.
there are 1.09 billion websites out there. So
Jesus.
imagine the evolution since then. We were playing Need for Speed multiplayers like on connected PCs and stuff like that, going to the internet cafes and stuff like that. So yeah, the world has changed, and yeah, I studied this in terms that we report on our website these type of issues. But man, this is really something that needs to be taken care of. And then, yeah, I saw bullying during Counter-Strike because I started playing online a bit, but nah, it's not for me. But it's a good thing that you stepped up.
There's one more thing that young generation like Gen Z, which is I belong to, we grew up basically already with phones in our hands and with internet, and it's still quite surprising how it's all going, like which direction it's going, because so far it feels like nobody actually think or in a charge or control this. And it's just like chaotic movements all over the internet, how it's evolved, which direction it goes. And again, humans wasn't developed to be online. Like it's not something that our brain, our unfortunately slow and kind of animal brain, like able to adjust. So especially so fast. So it leads to that Gen Z spend like literally twice as much time online communicating with people than in real life. And as a result, 73% of Gen Z are more lonely than any recorded person in human history. And it's worldwide, like regardless of the country. And gamers, 50% lonelier than average adult. So all of this statistic, it's just screaming how much humans need meaningful social connection and how much we need each other.
All right. So you mentioned that there are some challenges that women are facing in gaming, such as harassment and toxicity. So how do you guys work out to provide a safer space for women and other marginalized groups?
So from the start, we need to learn about our users more. And we have this internal joke that we know about our users more than they know about themselves. So
That's
we
good.
study, yeah, it's actually funny because majority of humans, they not ever like ask themselves a lot of questions that need to be asked. They don't know themselves, especially when you're young. You still have all life of self-discovery journey. But what we're doing, we diving super deep. We bring one human into smaller pieces, more than 100 different data points about person. And it's also including your behavior towards women, your behavior, how okay you are with the like feminism, how okay you are with the gay people, and all this detail. Of course, it can change over time, and that's great if you're changing and evolving and learning something new. But if you, for example, from the start, you biased to not liking these people, it's literally not our job to make you like them. Our job is create a safe environment for them. So if somebody tend to have, biased opinion about the way how women plays or something like that, you're just not supposed to play with women. And that's going to create better experience for him, and it's going to create better experience for female gamers as well. I think, and I believe that toxic gamer, you're not born toxic. You became toxic after you face it over and over in line, after you get hurt over and over in line. At some point, you're going to become like, why I need to be hurt? From now on, I'm going to start bully. So they would be hurt first. And that's the twist that we need to catch before it happens. The same with a woman. Like, I don't say that all like women cannot be toxic. They can be toxic towards each other as well. But if you provide them safe environment from the start, and if you're measuring how the user behavior changing over time, what direction he going over time, you can prevent it. So our algorithm actually can catch toxicity before it happened and prevent that people would play together.
All right, now I'm sounding like an old person. The world has changed a lot, and yeah, like I told you, when we weren't connected to the internet via games, it was much more fun because at least you were sitting in the same room playing some multiplayer with your friends. Nobody could harass you, stuff like that. So you launched in 2019, and you've grown until now that you have around 100,000 users, primarily in the US, UK, and Canada. So what tactics have you found most effective in attracting and of course, retaining users on your platform?
So actually right now we have a little bit over 800,000 users. We have very great growth for last year. And what we find it is investing more and more into product and create very smooth user experience and also viral loops. So it's intensive for users to invite their friends to play with them on the platform. For example, we add one of the tools to simplify game coordination between games. You want to play Counter-Strike, and you want to find people to play it with. So you can go to GameTree, you can create game session, and not just the game session going to be recommended and show to people who our algorithm will predict you're going to have fun time, but also if they accept the invites, we're going to send them notification and kind of timer, like how long to the game session. Like there's 5 hours to game session and like timers that then going to calculate. So that would just make it smoother and easier for you. Or you can send it to your buddies who you already know and you want to play. So it's not going to be public game session, but private. And you don't need to coordinate everyone. And at the right moment, they're just going to click the bottom and be in the game and play and in the chat with everyone. So this is one of the tools how we build inside the product to lead to growth. Another one is creating good content, relevant content for gamers inside the platform as well as outside. For example, there's nobody actually teaching gamers about behavior and interaction with each other. It's crazy that it's $400 billion industry, and literally we are the only one company who focusing on gamers' relationship with each other. And this is a huge part of why we even play any games, right? And how so many people can just ignore. That was my question. And I then discovered that, they just game developers, they just do not think about social engineering. They like to create games, but they don't really know much about like other part of the game.
All right. So based on your experience, what is the most significant benefits that a well-moderated gaming community can offer to their members?
Oh, wow. To be honest, like from the moment when we created it, I didn't even realize how big changes our product can provide for our gamers. And we received tons of messages. Some of them was like, hey, I wasn't in a safe environment. I wasn't like something was threatening my life. And because of your platform, I find people who like hosted me and literally like saved my life. And I was like, what? That's crazy. Like, you never thought about it from when you just create the platform. There was another message just like, I meet my wife over here. Thank you very much to create this. That was something like, I was so depressed and I didn't know that I could have a life that your platform gave to me. There was a lot of things that just mind-blowing, how community, how important is community and how important humans to each other.
All right, so this is the key parts, and let's also look ahead, and I want to ask you about some of the new features that or initiatives that you might be bringing to GameTree and you are planning to roll out. Maybe it's something that could enhance UX or expand your reach.
So there's a couple things that was on production and on development for a while. One of them is the desktop version of platform, which is very helpful for those of us. So far, it's web app, but desktop is going to be much better experience. And we excited. We hope that very soon it's going to be available to gamers. One more initiative, which is super cool, and I'm very excited to the moment when it's going to be available. It's plugin solution for games. So we already signed contracts with a couple games, actually more than 60. Not gonna name them, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna use matchmaking algorithm from GameTree and information that we know about gamers and our expertise to provide better matching inside the games. So it's going to be super simple. Like from the start in the game, you can see like, oh, you can use either standard matching, either more advanced matchmaking system. So you can go create your profile. We're going to learn about you, more information, and then you can try to use more advanced matchmaking solution from GameTree. And that's going to benefit games and it's going to benefit our platform as well. So if you will think about it, loyalty and social experience, it's a huge benefit to any game, especially like communities in general, super helpful for any kind of product, but especially for massive multiplayer games. If your users coming not to your product so much, but to each other, to spend time with each other, it's much more meaningful. They become much more loyal. They much likely going to recommend your product to somebody else. And I think for this period of time, we'll learn how to provide this service, and we can do it probably like the best on the market. So I'm very excited about both of them.
All right, nice. Yeah, it's very interesting, and you mentioned, I think you mentioned a couple of times this type of information collection about your users and learning to help them. It's good that you're not in Eastern Europe and you're not in the European Union, because you would be facing a lot of data privacy and stuff like that to just collect those data, and you can do it in the US without any doubt and helping.
Well, GDPR is something that exists and regardless from the country that you based on. So we super conscious about data that we collect. We understand that some of them can be very important, and we try to keep them super secure and to not associate them with specific persons. So we are very conscious about the responsibility that comes with what we're doing. And regardless where we based, if we ask permission from our users to use the data, and majority of data is actually volunteered by them to improve the experience. So with their consents, we do not actually going across the law or doing something illegal or anything like that. And unlike, again, we grew up with this phrase that Facebook is evil. And that just was something that everybody says. And we don't want to be one of that company, you know. We want to do it right. We started from doing something that's going to benefit ourselves, something that's solving real life problem. And we want to like keep the company on the good part of the world and on the good part of internet. It's hard.
All right. So I also read that you are an active gamer yourself, and I'm very curious about what's your favorite games out there, and how do they influence your work at GameTree? Let me just guess. Maybe your favorite one is Fortnite.
Oh, that's a close one. I do love Fortnite, let me tell
All
you.
right.
How did you know?
I know. I was checking the website and I found that in the games menu, that's the first one.
So I play a little bit of everything, but probably one of my favorite one is Dota too.
All right.
Who knows? They know. There was a period of time when Ukraine company Navi they won first world championship on Dota, and that was a moment when I was like quite young, and I was so inspired by them. It was one of the biggest achievements in at that period of time in Ukraine esport, and everybody just went nuts on Dota. Like everybody was playing it, and of course, so do I. Could I say I'm good? Maybe not that much, but I definitely enjoy it a lot.
All right. And how has this influenced you in terms of your work?
When my parents ask me, describe what Dota is, I always say it's more advanced 3D chess. So imagine that it's a chess, but you play it with the other people in the same team. Your map is changing all the time, and it's never the same. There's an unlimited amount of possibilities and how it can work together, and you need to think so much in advance, and you need to coordinate your moves with your teammates, and you need to be aware of everything that's going on around the map. So it's actually developing a lot of skills, and I don't like when people say that games make us stupid or make us worse or something. No, it's not true. At all. Like games developing so many skills, and I think my strategy thinking evolved a lot because of the game that I play. And majority of my friends who, especially professional esports, they're one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life.
All right. So I was looking up that I liked playing StarCraft.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So it's similar in terms
Yes.
of strategy and stuff like that to Dota, but I did not play Dota. I stopped at Counter-Strike and
StarCraft it's old school, let me tell you.
it
But
is.
it's a favorite game of my co-founder, and he's super strategic as well. You like to think a lot, so I can assume the same is for you. Why do you like StarCraft?
Man, I played Age of Empires and
Okay. Okay.
Sims. I don't know if you play that game. Sims Roller Coaster Tycoon. When you needed to build a theme park and everything. That was the old school. That was the days when you weren't connected to the internet. It was just like building your own theme park. All right. So my last question to you today
All
is
right.
about giving advice. And of course, what advice would you give to the entrepreneurs looking to enter into the tech industry, and especially to those who may be transitioning from entirely different fields, like you did with the army?
So find your passion, and that would be a good one. Tech is not easy, and on the way, I think the golden age when tech was empty industry and everybody can enter it is over. Right now, it's very competitive business, and you need to be prepared that it's not going to be easy. So it's much more fun if you will do inside the tech something that actually resonates with you. Could be games, but not necessarily. It can be health tech. It can be a lot of other things that have direct impact to something that you're passionate to or somebody who you love. I believe that there's nothing like tech changes a human world and changing our lives. The way how internet changed world is absolutely mind-blowing. The way how computers like PC changed the world, unbelievable. Like cell phones, mobile phones, smartphones, all of this have direct huge impact for for humans. So be conscious about this. Find something that you would enjoy working on daily basis. Maybe not even for money, because you're not always going to have money in tech. It's a very competitive place. And just be brave and go through.
All right, so you hear that, Gen Z audience, because we don't have that many. Hopefully now, the ones that we have will understand, and they will know something to do in terms of their advancement in their career. So thank you so much, Dana, for joining us, and our listeners for tuning in. Maybe you would like to say some parting words, some shout outs to the team.
I really enjoyed this conversation. So thank you very much for inviting me, and that was great questions. I really hope that it was helpful for everybody who listened us. And if our listeners need anything, you can find me in LinkedIn, and feel free to just reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you with whatever you have, if I can, of course.
All right. Thank you so much again, and thank you for your time, of course. And thank you to our listeners for their times. And we will be back next week with more stuff. Take good care until then. Bye.
And that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.